What's up YouTube, it's JackalGoldKick, and in this video I'm going to be talking about caffeine addiction. Now I haven't fully looked into caffeine addiction like that online and looked into, the symptoms and researched it like that. So I haven't done that to say that I have an addiction, but I feel like I have a caffeine addiction. I want to talk about it. Just thought I'd make a video about this, and people that are watching this, let me know in the comments if this is something you have, or if this is if it's bad to have this, or if it's good to have this, or what. Because I do think I'm addicted to caffeine, because I've drank caffeine my whole life. Growing up as a kid, teenager, I drank soda, Coca-Cola, Dr. Pepper, Red Pop, Orange Pop, Faygo, Red Pop, Faygo, Orange Pop, Faygo, Purple, Coca-Cola, Dr. Pepper, Sprite, Pepsi. I drink a lot of soda pop and that type stuff, that caffeine. I drank that a lot as a kid and a teenager. And then I started to drink coffee, and I drank that for a while. And then I eventually switched to energy drinks, where I started to try energy drinks, because the main addiction I'm dealing with, which I've been trying to get rid of, porn addiction, I was trying to implement new things in my life that I didn't try, and energy drinks was something I never tried. So let me implement this. This wasn't a part of my addiction lifestyle, I guess, neuroscience, neurologically, if that makes sense. So I progressed to energy drinks, and now that's mainly what I drink. And when it comes to caffeine, I have caffeine every single day. It's like it's usually, if I have an energy drink or energy drinks, it's usually just once a day. Like, it's usually just one energy drink every single day. But every day I do have caffeine, because I feel like I need that energy to get through the day, and I feel like I need this energy to get through the day and get things done, or I feel tired without it. Because I remember I would go a day or two when there wasn't anything to drink caffeine wise, and I wouldn't feel as energized and spiked up and ready to go. I would feel more tired and more just lack of energy. But then when I get caffeine, it would fix that. Like, I remember I was tired in a day and I got some Dr. Pepper and I didn't feel as tired. So, maybe I should look into it more, but I think it's safe to say that I have a caffeine addiction, because I have caffeine every single day. Every day I have to have caffeine, and it's like kind of a habit thing. It's become like a really big habit thing, where every day, not only do I have caffeine, but it's kind of a morning thing, where every day in the morning when I get up, it's grab some caffeine, grab an energy drink and drink it every single day. And it's usually always in the morning. And then if I don't have energy drinks, I'm relying on coffee, which can work. But another thing I notice I think I have a caffeine addiction in me, this caffeine habit, is like my tolerance, the tolerance has changed. So it's starting to take more caffeine, and certain types of caffeine don't really give me the same energy that they used to. Like, when I first was trying Red Bull and Monster and certain energy drinks, just one would be like, a jolt of energy. And they still do that, but it's not as much, especially with coffee. Like today, I had some coffee, because I don't have any energy drinks at the moment, and I still felt tired. So I drank Coke, still felt tired. I had another Coke just to get energy. I had to have 2 Cokes and a cup of coffee just to have some energy for the day. And I even remember one time there wasn't no caffeine. I felt so tired from not having no caffeine that I drank flat Coke out of like a 2-liter bottle just to get some caffeine in me. So I'd like to know if this is a bad thing to be. I mean, I know some bad things about caffeine. Like, I know that obviously if you drank like 5 or 10 or insane amounts every single day, you could have a heart attack and heart issues, right? I don't drink, a whole bunch every single day, but I do have it every single day, at least once for the most part. But like, I do know that it's bad for your teeth, the acid and the plaque from soda, and probably the same from energy drinks. Depending on what soda it is, if it's high in calories, weight gain, it can keep you fat. I think that's maybe why I've had a hard time losing some weight, and why I've had why I've been somewhat fat, is because of my past drinking, fatty drinks. But one thing I can say, at least with me for caffeine, is I've switched. I feel like in some healthy aspects, at least. Like, back in the day, I would drink soda, and that's all I would drink. And soda has a shit ton of calories, 100, 200. And if you do the math, that's like a shit ton of calories, ton of fat, plus all the food you're eating. And, you know, these days I try to walk and, you know, I've been trying to lose weight. I mean, once in a while I slip. What I mean by slip, not my other addiction, what I mean by slip is like, I try to mostly stay away from high calorie caffeine drinks, but once in a while I do slip and have one, but not as much as I used to. But I try not to have those anymore, you know, to lose weight, because the soda and, you know, the sugary, you know, caffeine drinks, they have a lot of calories in them. So I used to drink like the regular Red Bulls and Monsters and stuff like that, you know, energy drinks, and not look at the calories. But I started to think, you know, if I want to lose weight, I can't be drinking these high calorie energy drinks while I'm also eating all this food, because I'm not really going to make any progress of losing weight. So I decided to switch. I switched to like other versions of energy drinks. And another reason I think I have a caffeine addiction is I've dabbled in tons of caffeine, tried tons of types. I've tried Red Bull, black version of Red Bull, I've tried Monster, Hava Monster, I've tried NOS, I've tried Rockstar, I've tried the worst one, in my opinion, the worst energy drink is Rip It. That's the worst energy drink of all time. And I thought, hey, I'll try this out, because this is when I was switching to sugar-free caffeine energy drinks. I tried it out because it was cheap and it had 0 calories. It tasted like shit, and it smelled horrible, worst ever. And I tried 5 Hour Energy, which I don't mind those because they're, you know, they're 0 calories, but the flavor of them feel too like raw, or just kind of like, I can't explain it, but they just feel kind of strange. But I've switched to 0 sugar energy drinks. Like now, like I switched to like Red Bull, sugar-free, Monster sugar-free. I've tried variations of Monsters, tons of variations, like pink flavored, peach flavored, you know, I don't know all the flavors, but I tried different kinds of Monster and Red Bull and different kinds of energy drinks to change it up, varieties, spice of life. But I mostly now just stick to sugar-free energy drinks. I'll get something that it has at least say 10 calories or 15 or 20. I want to keep it within that range. I want to keep it within the 2-digit calorie range. That way, okay, I'm going to have these energy drinks, but I want to make sure I'm not having the ones that have a ton of calories. So yeah, I switched to the sugar-free versions, and they honestly don't taste that bad. I mean, yeah, a lot of the sugary stuff does taste good, because a lot of the bad stuff in life does taste good, unfortunately. You know, me and my friend used to talk about that online, someone I know online, that why does all the good stuff taste like shit and all the bad stuff taste good, you know? I mean, there's plenty of healthy stuff that tastes good, but, you know, it's just, you know, some healthy stuff that's better for you than some bad stuff tastes horrible, but then some of the stuff that's really bad for you, but a lot of us have it tastes really good. It's like, can we reverse it or something? Then it'd be easier to get healthy and all this stuff. But like with caffeine, you know, soda tastes good. I think it's another reason I could have a caffeine addiction, is it does taste good, you know, whether it's Coke or Dr. Pepper, well, your preference and what you like, but, you know, Coke, Dr. Pepper, you know, Mountain Dew Baja Blast, you know, the energy drinks, they do taste good. They have a good flavor to them. I think that's another reason why I think I'm addicted to them, why they're addictive for me, is that they have a flavor, they taste good. Whereas water, I do drink water, but, you know, water has no flavor. But, you know, I can drink water, but, you know, I think the flavor and it tasting good is another aspect of caffeine. So I'll probably look into it more fully and see what else I can find out about caffeine addiction. Maybe see if I really have it. Maybe I just have a bad habit, or maybe I actually do have a caffeine addiction. I don't know, because I've never tried to go super long without caffeine, so I don't know if I would have the same reaction as my other addiction, where if I'm away from caffeine for 7 days or more, I want it so bad that I steal it or something like that. Like, I don't know. I haven't tried to go for it that long, but I drink caffeine to get energy, to have energy to get through the day and go for walks and all that stuff. But I am heavily reliant on it. Every single day I have caffeine, but it's usually these days just sugar-free energy drinks. Maybe once in a while there's a slip into a fatty one, but I try to stay away from those, because I'm not going to be able to lose weight if I have those. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about caffeine and caffeine addiction. I think I have it. I mean, if I do have it, I definitely ain't gonna try to quit it anytime soon, because I'm already trying to quit one addiction. There's no way I'm gonna try to quit 2 addictions. That's too much for you know, me to handle, for a human being to handle. Quitting 2 addictions, that's impossible to do, because one is hard enough. And also, like, I don't see reasons to quit caffeine. That's one of the things, I think that's the only reason I'm making this video, is like, I know it's like bad for the teeth and stuff, but I keep up on brushing my teeth. So it's like, and I've been to the dentist even though I need to go again, but it's like, even though I'm relying on caffeine, I don't see like reasons or a bunch of arguments of why I should stop it or why I should stop using it. Like with my porn addiction, you know, I know it's a bad problem, and I know all these things that are bad about it and all the bullshit it does to me and why I need to quit it. Whereas caffeine, it's really not the same. And plus caffeine addiction, I'd rather deal with that than porn addiction. But anyways, I haven't seen any reasons to quit it or to stop drinking caffeine. So I figured I'd just make a video talking about it, since it's one of my habits, and I just like to know what people think. And yeah, I'll look into it more. But that's really all I got to say in this video about caffeine addiction. I just wonder in the future, you know, if I ever decide to stop using it or don't use it anymore, hopefully you can get energy or have energy to make it. Maybe not having energy from lack of caffeine, maybe that's part of the caffeine addiction. I don't know. I need to research this shit. But hopefully you can have decent energy or not be tired if you eventually stop using this or stop drinking this. At the moment, I just don't see a reason to stop having caffeine and not use it. Though, like I said, there is negatives, you know. It messes your teeth up, and, you know, you start to need more and more. And depending, you know, if you have the high calorie versions, they're fatty and sugary. And then what else? I'm trying to think. What was I going to say? Oh, and I feel like they make you, oh yeah, another thing with caffeine, you shit a lot. You have to go to the bathroom a lot and take a lot of shits and poop a lot. That's another thing with caffeine. So that is a negative. That is something that happens to me a lot from caffeine, is having to do that a lot. But that's all I got to say in this video. Peace. Alright, so there's just a little bit more I wanted to add to this caffeine addiction video that I forgot to say. When I used to drink soda back in the day, I think one of the bad things about soda is they're not as strong. They don't have as much caffeine as energy drinks and coffee. So you need more of those to really be energized, especially if you drink it a lot and build a tolerance. And, you know, back when I drink soda, I would drink a lot of soda, like probably 2 to 4 every single day. It's kind of hard for me to remember, but I remember having like 2 to 4, just at least 2 or more, like every single day, of like Faygo or Coke or Dr. Pepper, all kinds of soda. And then, like, I even remember when I was trying out Mountain Dew Blue, I used to drink a shit ton of that when I was drinking it. Like, I remember when I was trying out the Uncharted 4 game, I have a picture of this somewhere. I had like 5 or 6, 7 blue Mountain Dew soda pop cans on my table. I had just a ton there, and it just, when I looked at the picture, I was like, wow, it shows how much fucking soda I drank back then. But yeah, I just remember when I drank that blue Mountain Dew back then, I would drink like more than one. I would like just drink more than one of them. Like, I'd have one and have another and have another. And it's also one of those things where it tastes good. It's another reason, like I said, why you drink caffeine, especially soda, is it tastes good. You like the flavor. So that's another thing to add into this caffeine addiction. Just a few more things I wanted to mention that I forgot to mention. But that is it for this caffeine addiction video. I just wanted to add this part. Peace. So I just wanted to add one more thing to this video. I do my videos off the dome, so sometimes I forget things and want to include them. But another thing that relates to caffeine addiction that I did is, you know, the pill Aspirin, for example, has caffeine in it. And a lot of times whenever I would take it, you know, it would be for headaches, like it's normally used for. But there was a time period where I almost started to have a bad habit with like aspirin. Maybe I could have almost been addicted to them, because I was starting to take them, I think, for the caffeine more so than what it was used for. So sometimes I would like lie to myself, like, oh, I have a headache, but I really don't. Or I would shake my head to make me have a headache or something, just so I have an excuse to take aspirin. So that was like another way of getting caffeine, since aspirin has caffeine as well. And yeah, that's another thing I wanted to mention. So that's really all there is to this caffeine addiction video. Yeah, peace. I'm adding another part to this video because I forgot to include something else. It's one of the disadvantages of going off the dome, but something else that I should have talked about. that is also a problem with caffeine addiction and relying on caffeine a lot is, you know, it can be expensive. It can cost a ton of money because, you know, you're very dependent on caffeine. You got to keep buying it and keep paying for it. You got to keep buying the soda or the energy drinks or the coffee or whatever type of caffeine you're having. You have to constantly buy it and constantly get it, so it's costing money. So it's definitely an expensive habit as well, and that can be a downside depending on your financial circumstances. And money wise, it definitely can be a negative impact on money, because you could probably save up a lot of money and whatever it is you're using, or food stamps or whatever, if, you know, caffeine is something you weren't getting or weren't relying on. So that's definitely something else that I forgot to include in this video about caffeine addiction. But that's really it. That's all I got to say in this video about caffeine addiction. Peace. I hate the fact that I have to keep adding parts because I keep forgetting things. Very, very annoying. But another thing I forgot to mention about the caffeine addiction and caffeine in this video is that another thing I noticed about consuming caffeine is I have a lot more anxiety, I feel like, because of it. I mean, most of my anxiety comes from my main addiction, and some of it probably, you know, a lot of years of my life being in the house all the time. But another thing that I deal with from caffeine and caffeine addiction, at least I think I have caffeine addiction, is I get anxiety from it. Like if I have some caffeine or a decent amount of it, I will have anxiety from it. And, you know, I guess you could say blood pressure goes up somewhat. Yeah, blood pressure goes up somewhat, and just have more anxiety. And just because that's something it does, that's something it does to you. That's what caffeine does to you. So that's another thing to mention, is it can cause anxiety and, you know, speed things up and cause anxiety and that kind of stuff. So that's another thing I forgot to mention in this caffeine addiction video. Hopefully this is the last part I have to add to this video. I don't usually have this problem too much with a lot of videos, but this is one of them where I'm just forgetting to say things that I should have mentioned. So that's it for this video, hopefully, about caffeine addiction. Peace.